Hello, hello, and welcome to a map that I'm not entirely 100% sure how it is even on the CTM map list, but it is. This is a chain zap. It is not a CTM map. This is a puzzle map that was made for a CrowdFord jam. CrowdFord being a different Minecraft community, which has kind of an intersection with the CTMC. A lot of the same people in both. They do more technically impressive command blocky functiony things. A little bit like this map, I suppose. We have options. There are many options. I can place things, I can remove things. Fragile conduits, strong conduits, north, south, west, east. There's a button that makes a noise. Fantastic. Let's go to the menu, because that's likely to actually do things. Credits! Welcome to Change App, map functions and art by CooleyBrekka, mapping server by 14, and made for the CrowdFord community. Grow Crazy Jam. Join on CTMC. Good idea. Join the CrowdFord community. I assume is what that stands for. Also probably not a bad idea. Level select. We don't have any. Strong tower ranges. If this makes no sense, that's fine. Doesn't make any sense to me yet. Start map. Map has been initialized. Can I level 1? I can level 1. Gap! Okay. What happens if I test with no conduits on the board? Not much. I'm guessing I want to connect this purple thing to this yellow thing. And I can do that with right click, left click. I can reset. I have to be aiming. No, I don't. Approximately is good enough. Okay. I've connected the thing to the thing. Is this what I have to do? Yes. Level 2. We have sits things, so I'm supposing we need to hit the red thing before we get to the yellow thing. Let's check that this is actually the case, though, and I cannot do this. I do not think this is going to work, but let's try it. Okay, no. I have to get to that one last, as I expected. I cannot now remove anything. I need to hit reset, and let's try going this way around, which I have just enough conduits to do. Let's try that. So far, so sensible. 5 fragile conduits and 1 strong conduit. So... what does a strong conduit do? I'm guessing maybe it doesn't break. Also, a thing which I would like to know is, can you go diagonally? And if I put that there, and go back, something like that, maybe? If you can go diagonally, that might work. Assuming that everything works in the way that I am assuming that it works. No, I cannot go diagonally. Well, that ain't gonna do a whole lot then. Okay, theory number 2. The strong conduits have a wider radius of effect than fragile conduits. If I do... this. How far is the range on that? I can't even connect up these two. So this definitely is not going to work. Let's see what happens anyway. That also does not work how I expected it to. Like, at all. That's not what I meant to do. That is not the button I meant to push. What if I do... That connects everything, but I'm not sure that connects everything logically. Let's see. Aha, it does, because the strong circuit doesn't break, and neither does the exit tile, and therefore, if you put a strong conduit next to the exit tile, they'll keep going back and forth between one another in an infinite loop. I see. We have 2 starting points. What was the title of this one? I didn't see. Mess. Okay, so we need a path that connects. Now that's what I call CTM. It's a completely different map. We have 13 tiles. What do we do with this? We could go that way, that way. I want to connect this thing last, obviously. 6 conduits. See, I could go up here, but then I think it's going to get to the exit before it gets to that final lock over there. What if I go this way instead? I'm just completely ignoring that second starting point over there. Yeah. That works. Completely ignored the second starting point, but yeah, that was alright. We have a bunch of pre-placed conduits. How do I get over the wall? If I just test this, what does this do? I see! Okay. If you have multiple weak conduits affect a strong conduit at the same time, then it increases the radius. So what I just need to do is replicate that same kind of idea over here somehow. Which may be easier said than done. Well, maybe? What if I just do this? I don't think this is going to go over the wall. Well, I'm starting from the exit point and trying to get to the starting point. I'm doing it the wrong way round. That's fine. Reset. Alright, so what I need to do is I need to go... Strong conduit definitely goes there. I think. And then fragile can go... Can fragile go? Right, no, this'll work. Because that'll go over to here, that'll trigger that, which triggers both of these, which then both trigger at the same time, triggering this one again, which then gets over the wall. Like so. Stripes! To keep reminding myself what the starting tile is, it's this one. 9 fragile conduits, 5 strong conduits. So to get over this wall, I'm gonna need to do something like strong, strong, fragile, 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 fragile. Then that does not leave me a whole bunch of room to get over there. So instead, well, let's just see that work first, even though this is clearly wrong. That doesn't work first, because this radius is actually strong enough to get over to both of these, which I did not think that it was, but it is. Okay, so if I... a strong one there. Let's ignore that section. I feel like... I would really like more than 4 strong conduits. Now, if I do that... that theoretically hit both of those. If I could somehow trigger that with 2 things at the same time. Because... no, I might have enough. What I wanted to do was that, that, that. That and that will definitely hit everything. So remaining placements, one has to go there. This pretty much has to go something like that. Don't know how that would ever trigger a large radius from over there. Is problem. It's going to be something like this, but not like this. No, this might work, actually. Well, that did not work. That did not work. If I do... that there, that there... that there, and... do I even need one there and there? I feel like that needs to go there. But I also need to somehow not trigger it immediately. I'm not sure how I would do that. Well, it's just like this, isn't it, really? But this one wants to not hit these two. While still hitting that one. Which is not how the radius works. That's not what I wanted to do. I feel like this is gonna turn into a lot of me fumbling around. Because that I can't even get past. If this bit is used at all, which I'm not entirely convinced it is, then that green one has to go there. That would involve needing to do that. So if that triggered that, and then that and that were there, and the radius hit this one but not these two, then that would work fine. But it doesn't. So I can't do that. So instead, how else do I get to over there, though, if it isn't with a green one here? Because if I put a green one here, it's never gonna double trigger. Unless I trigger a green one with two other green ones activating simultaneously. But I don't think I have enough to do that twice. Or I could trigger with a green one with a green one and an orange one. But I'm also not entirely sure how that one would be executed. If I put that there, and I somehow just... do that. I could get them to go around in a loop. That would be cool. I don't think that's really possible. That hits that, which hits... this, which hits that, which hits that, but I now need an extremely delayed reaction on that via some other channel, which I don't think is going to happen. These get surprisingly tricky, surprisingly quick. That or I'm just thick and I've missed something obvious. Which is also entirely possible. I don't think it will reach that diagonal. It's just like a 5x5 with the corners missing radius. So that is not gonna work. This is plainly ridiculous, but let's do it anyway. Yeah, obviously. Obviously. What if I somehow went... It's clearly not going to work. That is clearly an unworkable thing. I feel like this missing section here has to be important somehow as well. But I am not sure how. Can't put a green one there, that's never gonna trigger. What would happen if I did that and hit this with two extended things at the same time? Does that extend the radius further? No. Nor did it appear to go back to both of these properly. Not that that matters too much. If I somehow got this green one to trigger, then I could do green there, green there. Could just orange my way over there easily enough. And then... and then what? Even if I managed to do that, and then what? Because I would need to do there and there, which then doesn't leave me any way to get over that wall in the first place. So that's clearly entirely wrong. Not that. I do green, green. Back to what I had earlier again. Which doesn't work because all three of these trigger at the same time. Which stops this from doing the double activation because it gets triggered. How would I stop that? We need to hit this. The only way to do that is to put a green either here or here, and the same on the other side. I feel like I've tried putting it there several times and come up with nothing. if I put it there, then the only way to hit this one with two things at the same time is to hit it with a green one and an orange one. And the same thing would have to be mirrored over here. I could hit that with a green one from here, or from here. Here seems unworkable because it's right close to the start, so it's going to trigger right off the bat, and I don't think there's enough room to loop around to it again. I also don't know how I would time it properly if I put it here. There's just not a whole lot of room in general. What happens if I do this? Yeah, that loops. Which I thought it might. This is always going to trigger an orange one being here, which is the only way I would hit that with two things at once is for an orange one to be here. Probably. Unless it was a green one here. I don't have enough room to replicate that on both sides, but that might not matter because I don't need the green one down in this section necessarily. If I do that, it'll hit both of these, which will each trigger with a 1 radius. What if I do a green one there? What would this do? It just stops. They both trigger, but it doesn't boost them both because they just triggered, so it just stops. I feel like the green one there is never going to work. It's got to be the green one here. That just makes more sense to me, because that hits both of these at once. But then that wouldn't ever use this gap. And I don't know how I go about hitting this with two things at once. While having it not get hit with the previous fire. I need to get to this without somehow hitting either of these. I don't see how that's possible. So even if I looped around this way, I'm then never going to hit this one. I skip? No. No. This might turn into me just trial and erroring a few things then. Green here isn't going to do anything. If I want to get through this section, it's gotta be that. This doesn't work though, does it? This is my same problem again. In fact, what the heck is that gonna do? I don't need that and that, do I? That's what I learnt in the previous puzzle. So that triggers both of these, which then go back and trigger that. But then this just gets stuck. So I could do that, but what good does that do me? I still can't get through here. I don't think it's possible to get through here. Which pretty much means I have to go across this way at the same time as somehow triggering enough of them to get through there. Which is gonna be tricky, to say the least. I feel like it has to be a green one there. It has to be that there. Surely necessitate something like that, but then that is gonna trigger that. It's the only way to avoid that being a problem. Be maybe that. What happens if I just alternate? And that's the right number of things. It can't be much more complicated than that, because I don't have any more tiles than that. Not like that. If I do this, then it trips that. Then it trips this, and I need it to trip something else that'll come back and trip this next turn in order to get it to hit that. Which can only be done if this is here and inactive, which it can't be because this is triggering. But if I put it here, then I need a green one definitely to be there. I need this one to be triggering at the same time as this one. Hold on. Does this work? This might work. Because this triggers both of those. But this one isn't a radius of 2. How do I make that happen? How do I get this to do a radius of 2? If I did that, then that's not going to work. This is still going to trigger this. And that's already going to be triggered by the time that, well, you know, it isn't going to work, basically. Maybe I can set an infinite loop up with these red ones somehow. Very constricted on room is the problem. Seems like it could be potentially good. Could this triggers... there, there, and there. And I could somehow come back and repeat, maybe. No. No, that's a terrible idea. No, no, no. What other patterns are there that might work? It's awful. Can't use too many green ones up here, though, because then I won't be able to do this bit. What am I missing? It's only level 6. What incredibly obvious thing have I not learned? It's got to be something like this. It has to be. I just don't see any other start that makes much sense. Unless it's that. But then how would I ever hit that? If I come at it from this angle. Because we're always going to be hitting this thing. Which, if this is green and this is... What if they're both green? The point is I'm never going to get another signal coming from over here. Fumbling around. This would be great if I could double trigger this, because this hits 3 things at once. I don't know how I would do that. It would have to be with... Let's try working backwards. If I can double hit this, that hits that, that, and that, which is only 1 step away from that. So that would be excellent if I could double trigger that. The only way that I'm going to be able to do that is if I have a green one here and a red one here. Or if I have a red one here and a green one there. Because then I can hit that, which hits that, which comes back and hits this again and that, which then double triggers and hits all of that. That's probably that side. So then we just need some kind of connection to over here. It's still this bit that I'm not sure about. But I do have 3 strong conduits to work with. It's just getting this beginning nailed. If a green one was there and I managed to double trigger that, that would be absolutely amazing. But it's these 2 here which are annoying, because there's not enough room. If I just blindly replicate the pattern I have on the other side. This hits that. Which hits all 3 of these. These 2 both trigger with a radius of 1. That signal carries down in this direction, which is fine. But in terms of going over that way, it achieves nothing. And it doesn't ever loop back around to where it came from. Basically, this ain't gonna work. But yeah, that end bit works how I expected it to. So I'm pretty sure that's gonna be right. Which was like this. That feels too successful to be wrong. How do I get over there? If I could have a green one there, there, and there, then that would definitely do nothing, because I can't double trigger that. That just gets stuck. I know that. If I put a green one there, and a green one here, no, this would have to be more like over there. But then, no. No, that's daft. You know, I could connect this, and then this little contraption would hit everything. But then I'm not going to have nearly enough wires, so that seems probably unnecessary. If I could somehow replicate what that does over on this side, that would be glorious. But I just... This is what I had a minute ago. I can't work out whether this gap is here for a reason, or whether it's a red herring. I am convinced that it could be either. That goes that way. That triggers that, which triggers that, but I need that to trigger twice, which it doesn't. Or I could put that there. Then that would involve me having to hit it from there. Which already hits there. Or I could put that there. That only hits this. Which is fine just in terms of getting over there and starting that line. But I'm never going to be able to start a double trigger pattern without coming to a dead end like that. Am I not? What if I just did that? These trigger this, which triggers that, which triggers that, which triggers this, which triggers both of these, which gets over there. But that still doesn't help me with that one. These trigger this, which triggers that, which triggers this. But then I'm never going to be able to two-hit this one. And I also have an orange one left over, so that just feels wrong. Well, that isn't going to work. I started it at the wrong time. I started it when there's absolutely nothing. Clearly don't have enough to do anything with this large space over there, even though that would be very helpful. Because I can't get past this 3 section, because I can't get past this 3 section, and they're both the same. So that's never gonna happen. There has to be a green one here or here, but I can't make either of those things work. Unless the answer is why not both. But this is already going to be triggering by the time we get anywhere near over here, if in that case. And so we need this to trigger twice. And so we come back to this, which is what I had before. What if I swapped that one and that one? Putting an orange one in the middle would do absolutely nothing. Because it's just going to get triggered from this. So who cares what these end up doing? That's never going to happen. Which then only means that one thing is ever going to hit that. Which isn't going to work. If I could do this, and have both of these green ones double trigger simultaneously, then this would double trigger, which would solve everything. But the purple is too close to this green one. Can I go back and re-trigger the one I originally triggered? I don't think I can. In fact, I'm like 99% sure that is not how that works, otherwise it would be going backwards at the beginning of every single puzzle. If the purple one was here, that would be fine. That would work in that case. If I... That can trigger that, which can trigger these two, which can trigger that. That takes 1, 2, 3 steps. So then we'd also need this one to trigger in 3 steps. Which currently goes 1, 2... What if I do this? Then these two trigger on go number 1. These 3 trigger on go number 2. These 2 trigger on go number 3. Which hits that, which hits these, which goes over there, which does the bit that I already know works. That escalated quickly. That level was far tougher to figure out than the previous 5. Triumphant water. How long did that take? Over half an hour? Alright, well, prison. Indeed it is. We have 2 starting points in a very small gap. Well, obviously what I can immediately do is that, and that gets me out of there easily enough. Because we just have a double trigger right off the gate. But now we're going to be working with very low quantities of things. Can I double trigger reds? Is that a thing? Because otherwise, I don't think I can make it past this wall and have nearly enough tiles. That would involve me doing that, and that. At which point I have basically nothing. So that is clearly not right. So I think I need to double trigger this. Which seems like it shouldn't be too bad, because unlike the previous puzzle, I actually had plenty of room this time. Can I not simply do... stop that. There. Can I not simply do something like this? I could if that middle one was green. Which it ain't. That triggers that. Which triggers these. Which should double trigger that. But then we're gonna get very stuck very quick. Did that just triple trigger? What did I just do there to get that to happen? Well, I mean, look, it's got to be an orange one here. That's literally the only thing that makes any sense whatsoever. I use this lock somehow? Not really, because this is the one I'm relying on to get past the wall. This has to go like that. Unless, of course, I can somehow triple trigger this, in which case that'll have enough room to hit literally everything. What happens if I do this? That hits that, hits that, hits that, hits that, which hits both of these. Which then goes back and hits both of these again. I don't think that's big enough, but let's have a look at it anyway. Oh no, it was. Well, I'm not even 100% sure why that worked, apart from we had managed to triple trigger it somehow. And oh boy. And oh boy, we need to quadruple trigger a green. Obviously not like that. So this... Ugh. This... Ugh. I feel like that's probably like that, but not necessarily, depending on how huge we manage to get this thing. Thwang. It is indeed a thwang. And that also seems like a logical thing to do. If I Fragile, fragile, fragile. This double hits. Just gonna whack that. Which... Again, that is not what I actually wanted to do at all. I feel like it's got to be something like this. It's not this. But I feel it's something like this. If, well... Well, This is gonna trigger these early. Because that's a 2 radius. Let's just watch it anyway. Did not do exactly what I thought it would do. But I was correct in predicting that it wouldn't work. So it doesn't really matter either way. I feel like there must be something with symmetry going on. If I do... this... then all I need to do is get these external 4 to activate at the same time. Which I can do if... I have 1 strong circuit left. Get all 4 of these to activate at once. Yeah, that'll get me far enough, definitely. Look how there's 4 conduit types I haven't even used yet. And by like, I mean am filled with a sense of impending dread by. The fact that I have 4 of these left. I did that, and then somehow hit both sides of this, then it would go 1, which does... No. 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 No, 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 no. No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Definitely not. These green ones also don't necessarily have to be there and there. They could be there and there. But that's going to make it maybe harder to hit these at the right time. Unless I somehow get a 1 signal through first immediately, followed by... near immediately, followed by a 2 signal. No idea how I would accomplish that. What the heck does this do? I mean, that gives me a big loop of 2s. Just experiment for a little bit. This doesn't work, right? It has to be green ones, not orange ones. Yeah, I can't double a fragile conduit. Doesn't work. So I reckon that is definitely going to be there. That is definitely going to be here. Which is weird, because that gives me an asymmetrical number of strung conduits. Which makes me think that there's going to be another one in this center row. Because it feels like things should be symmetrical here, somehow. And the only way to achieve that while not wasting conduits while having 3 conduits is to have another one either here, here, or here. None of which immediately make that much sense to me. There's probably multiple solutions to this as well. This feels like a fairly open-ended problem. In order to trigger this with 4 things, that has to be there and that has to be there. Pretty much convinced that this, at least, is correct. It's just what we do over here. And then we definitely need at least either an orange one here and a green one that's activating twice. So I could do... that. But then this connects pretty instantly and doesn't give me enough time to do any side looping, which I feel like is probably necessary. So, in all likelihood, it's going to be either green here and here, or there and there. If it's there and there... What happens if I just do that? Trigger these two greens at the same time. They trigger both of these oranges at the same time. But then that isn't going to work because I can't ever trigger these oranges for a second time. Again, if I had an extra green, it feels like that would probably work, but I don't. Am I thinking about this wrong? Do I need to hit this with 4 ones, or will hitting it with 2 twos do the same thing? Like, if that green one were a 2 and this green one were a 2... I somehow managed to get both of these things to line up and happen at the same time. Would that work? How would I do that? So I need to activate these for one... For this side is blocked, then. I need to activate it from... Would I, or would that pattern work? If I hit these, that hits all of these. That triggers kind of prematurely, but ultimately that shouldn't be a problem. And I can just kind of waste this strong circuit anyway. What happens if I do this? It goes absolutely crazy. Let me watch that one again. Because that was more interesting than I thought it might be. I did some interesting things. better fill in this one, even though it really isn't relevant right now. Yeah, so that did hit this with 2 2s. But that only seemed to produce a 3. I hit that. It hits that. This would need a way to re-hit that. Which probably ain't gonna happen. Unless it's something like that. I don't even know how that's gonna react, though. Still not nearly far enough. I don't get why I have one strong conduit left, unless maybe it's... somehow something like that. I double hit this. What benefit would that even give me, though, really? So somehow need this to be asymmetrical? That just feels weird. Yeah. It's kind of like a very weird green sword, isn't it? Sort of. He says, trying to procrastinate from doing actual brain-required puzzle solving. Um, what if I hit this with 3 2s at the same time? Because 2 2s wasn't enough. Could I do 3 2s? Without it reminding anybody of Final Fantasy? Would that work? Somehow? Like, if I did... That triggers a 2. Hitting this block would trigger a 2. Hitting this block would trigger a 2. I do not have nearly enough wire to do such a thing. Feels like this... This generating a 2 early would be pretty helpful, and rebounding and echoing the signal back stronger somehow could work. But my brain is not large enough to be able to figure out how one would actually achieve such a thing, if it is possible. I mean, no one even says that this necessarily has to be going in a directly straight line. This could be a wacky solution that veers off at some diagonal, crosses over the wall, and then just uses slightly more orange things to get back to the middle. I feel like diagonals are easier to control than going in straight lines, because they don't trigger on ones. Yeah, this is the signal strength of 1. This is signal strength 2. This is 3. This is 4, which is what I need to get over the wall. It looks like I might actually not be able to go any higher than that. Which kind of makes sense, because that would require me to do, like, 8 triggers at the same time, or something ridiculous. Which may be possible, but if it is, it's only by the kind of geeky people who set up amazing flying contraptions in Conway's Game of Life or something. I'm not quite that much of a nerd. I don't know. I think that I might just give up. Maybe it is not a great idea to be playing this thing late in the evening on weekdays when brain is already tired. This may not be a smart decision. I've made a bat. I think that I'm gonna call it there, because I am pretty clueless as to how I achieve what I need to achieve here. But, yeah, cool map. Very different, very interesting, very unique. I've not that I have played too many puzzle maps in a bajillion years since functions and things even became a thing. So I don't know if there are too many maps like this, but I am guessing that there are not. Yeah, it is pretty good. It is also definitely not a CTM map. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you somehow sieved some enjoyment out of me fumbling around with these levels. Stay safe, and until next time, I shall see you soon. Back tomorrow for some regularly scheduled moonlight.